Hello everyone, it is me, GamePing21, and today, well, it is a couple days after the Game Awards have happened, and I know that this is probably not on my usual upload date of Tuesday, but everyone's starting to get their videos out on the Game Awards right now. But I wanted to take a couple days, take a relaxation, and also just not have to worry about this. But I'm gonna, of course, have to talk about this because obviously the Game Awards were a big deal. So, if you have not remembered what happened during the Game Awards, let me just give you a few different little highlights here. A lot of really good games were up for various different awards. Some of them for smaller ones, some of them for bigger ones. Hi-Fi Rush walked away with an award, which that's actually kind of cool. I think that's neat. Forza walked away with a couple of them, and Sony's TV award was actually kind of interesting. That they won it for The Last of Us, but to be honest, that one was kind of expected, like a lot expected. I'd be surprised if that didn't happen. There was also a ton of really good games out there that won some very decent awards, even some, I forget which one won the actual Player's Choice Awards. But of course, the game of the year for this year was Baldur's Gate 3, and of course that pissed off a lot of people. Because, some things didn't happen. And of course, some people are happy about it, some people are not happy about it, and overall, there's a lot of salt to kind of get through. And there's also another one as well. There was one particular announcement that was there, which was Blade, which I'm going to have to break off into its own video because I wanted to wrap it up into one video, but I didn't want to take up too much of your time. So with that being said, I think it's about time that we start with this video, and we're going to, of course, start with, I guess, the ending bit, where we have Baldur's Gate 3 director meant to announce the Xbox version at the Game Awards, but completely forgot, with a understandable, you made the biggest game of the year and probably have PTSD from trying to get it on S. Last thing on your mind is Xbox, which, I don't know where I saw this, but there was a clip that was going around of people, there was like being a countdown and then saying, hey, wrap it up because they have to get through the show because they didn't want the show to go over a few times. And some people were complaining about the time of it being like, oh, this show was like 3 hours and most of it was commercials. Like, yeah, that's kind of the point of this. Probably had a lot of things to talk about here. The Red Dragon in this tweet seemed very extra salty because I guess that he just didn't get any of the games that he wanted to talk about. But more so than that, he then said that Xbox fans were expecting an Xbox game refresh announcement, Gears 6 and Baldur's Gate 3 on Game Pass with Indiana Jones and stuff, but they got a walking sim and one battle and still no solid release date, a movie, and just a game that just started development at the Game Awards. And that last one, and he's terrified, they aren't exclusive. And so that last one, of course, was Blade that was announced, which didn't seem to be coming to it, and I don't expect that one to be coming to exclusively Xbox. Not because I don't think that it would sell well on Xbox, just because I'm unsure as to how specifically they would do that. Because at least for the PlayStation one, that one might still come to other platforms. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, so again, check links for stuff. But overall, that tweet right there seems very, very salty and very, very much so like that. And one last one that I wanted to do on this whole little Red Dragon bit is that he had one where Forza Motorsport won the accessibility award by programming blind AI drivers to the Game Awards. And again, I think that I agree with this person's sentiment being like, what a bitch. Yeah, the Red Dragon was literally tweeting out stuff like this all the time throughout most of the show, from what I can tell you. But yeah, we're switching on over to J-Dub, with him talking mostly about Game Pass and stuff as well. where he says, talking about the one good, the Gotti Award as well. That being like, has anyone seen the loudmouth of Baron? I was told that Tears of the Kingdom was guaranteed Gotti winner. I'm glad the PlayStation 5 console exclusive won Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3. And again, I find this really ironically funny because literally in another tweet later, he then says, Baldur's Gate 3 is $70 on Xbox Store. You think bots gonna play it? Because again, one of the things with that was that, again, they just forgot to announce it. So these tweets were made, I think, only a few hours apart from each other, or maybe not even that, maybe about that. And I just find that really funny that he's like, oh yeah, the console exclusive Baldur's Gate 3 was the one. It's like, again, Baldur's Gate 3 was to come out pretty soon onto the Xbox Store after that. So yeah, I just find that really funny. Next up, we can then see him basically complaining about saying the first time ever that I've wanted this have showed the PC version of Hellblade 2 instead of the Xbox Series X, because I was highly disappointed. Looks more of the same, no cap, no release date yet again. Which, to be fair, like Hellblade 2 in and of themselves, I'm not one for those games, and this is one of those games that to me is probably going to do fine. I haven't seen any gameplay of it, nor do I really want to, because again, it's just not my game. It's just one of those things. So I have no horse in this race, but oh my god, such a petty person. You love to hate with I don't recall seeing anything like this when Psychonauts 2 and had 5 nominations and 0 wins in 2021 with like which, to be fair, one of the things with this is that it's really funny to me how people will instantly switch over stories whenever those stories just don't seem to want to go their way. I remember last year as well that the ponies were celebrating that Xbox got like no awards, with like God of War Ragnarok at the very least getting up to like 7 that was repeated, and it was like, oh yeah, we're the best, Sony's are the best, blah 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 blah. But then they lost out on the Game of the Year to it, and then everyone was up in arms about it. So certainly sore subjects all around. So next up, we're gonna go into the Unleashed section here, where it's Xbox continues to remain irrelevant. Kratos DLC decimated this wannabe God of War. Sina dared to not face Daddy Kratos. Ouch. Which then shows like these two things, which I'm not sure when these were tweeted, but okay. I don't really know how to make that really funny. Plus, I'm also kind of hungover from my night before. So yeah. Next up, of course, we got another Unleashed thing with Xbox. Xbox. The Game Awards are Sony award. Jeff Keighley is biased. Also Xbox. Haha. PlayStation didn't win a single reward. Which, again, yeah, but Sony ponies have done the exact same thing, and I find that really funny. Again, Elden Ring, anyone? Where it's rigged because Elden Ring deserved to win the award because it won the most awards that time, even though that's never been the case, and that each one stands on its own merit for the award. So, yeah. I find it really funny how this sort of thing just kind of happens every year all the time. So, yeah. So in the next half of this video, we're going to be talking about the Xbox side of things, because both sides were slinging shit faster than monkeys were. So, with that being said, let's take a look at this. Starting off with Dawson Smith with a PlayStation took home a movie award. Spider-Man 2 win anything. Xbox took home more awards than PlayStation. That's some funny shit. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to add to that. It's pretty funny that I think about that games that were nominated for that, but at the same time, it makes sense if you think about it, because Spider-Man was a good game. It was a solid game. It did a whole bunch of really good stuff. Absolutely. But overall, apparently it didn't do enough for it to win any awards, and that's fine. The game doesn't need to win awards. I think just getting even nominated should be enough to, like, be happy about. But if you're saying, like, oh, it deserved a lot of these awards, maybe it did. But at the same time, there's just, like, it's very weird. Next up, we've got Peter Ovo again, with a Hi-Fi Rush won more awards than Spider-Man 2. Check mark. Hi-Fi Rush defeated Spider-Man 2 in a category to win. Check mark. Which, did it actually? I don't remember watching this award. If someone wants to, like, link me that, if Hi-Fi Rush did actually win out an award over Spider-Man 2, I think that would just be even more funny, because of the fact that, again, Hi-Fi Rush was kind of announced and then released in the same announcement. Like, hey, look at this really cool game that we're working on. Yeah, when is it going to be available? Right now, which I just find really funny to me. But at the same time, it's a good game, and it deserves a lot of it. It's a very solid, well-designed game, and yeah, it's a smaller game for a smaller amount of money that's on, like, Xbox and stuff, but it's still a solid game, and it reminds me a lot of Sunset Overdrive, that sort of thing, which at some point they might have wanted to make something like that, but it deserved whatever award that it got, and if it won over Spider-Man 2, I just find it really, really funny. Next up, we've got Gaming Profit NYC, with the only win for a PlayStation was for a TV show, which then was a whole big laughing thing, which, again, I find very interesting. I mean, it's a good show. It's a really good show, but I don't know. I guess PlayStation was just having a little bit of an off year this year, which, again, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that that's upsetting or anything bad like that, but overall, that's just a little bit wild for that. With someone then else tweeting, Xbox received 3 game awards tonight, and PlayStation 0, but, you know, Xbox tax. Which, again, to anyone who's still touting the Xbox tax thing, you're kind of an idiot. You really, like, it's not a thing, alright? It's, media bias just kind of exists wherever, and if you go out looking for media bias for things, you will find it regardless of anything. So yeah. Next up, I found this very interesting screenshot that someone took where it was like Todd Howard scowling for some reason. And I 100% want to see this in like a good meme format. Like, this will become a meme format. Absolutely. Because that's just fucking hilarious. Unsure if it's from this Game Awards, from another Game Awards, whatever the fuck it is. This is hilarious. And there's a couple people out there that were talking about this with Jordan saying, who or what is Todd scowling at so hard? And yeah, that's really funny. I do wonder that too. And then back up to You Love to Hate with why am I here? Which, to be fair, like, that's funny, because Starfield was, I think, only nominated for 1 award and it didn't win it. So yeah. But I mean, again, I still think that even being nominated for Best RPG, even if it didn't win, which I think in my heart of hearts it probably should have won, but in the end I understand that, yeah, it's probably mid. So yeah. So then we're gonna go back to Anna Asan with my speech was longer than the COD campaign. Lizard Man thinks he's funny, yet COD sold more on PlayStation than God of War and God of War Ragnarok combined. With, yeah. So yeah, this was another really interesting part of it. That was another, like, kind of a little bit highlight where I don't know who this guy is. I think he's the voice of Kratos. I am willing to stand corrected on that, but I forget who specifically he is. But I know he's at least a person who works in gaming as, I believe, in voice actor. But I am unsure. So correct me in the comments. But he walked up on stage to give one of the awards, or receive an award, one of the two, and said that my speech was longer than the COD campaign, which some people got really upset about, and I'm gonna be honest, that was a funny fucking joke. Like that whole like, oh, that's better than the COD campaign. Like, yeah, that's I laughed. I'm a COD fan. I think that's fucking hilarious, and yeah, it's really funny to me. Next up, we have someone who basically took a screenshot from an older tweet that I've also covered on this channel. And then he says, so when do we start being concerned for the state of PlayStation Studios for not winning a single award except for the TV at the Game Awards? With, again, someone retweeting, like, not a single Xbox game got nominated. Because, yeah. I think that it's really funny how the narrative really shifted for the Game Awards, where like, it originally said, like, it was originally like, oh, all these award nominations are garbage, but Xbox tax. But then PlayStation just wins no awards. It's like, oh, the PlayStation didn't win a bit. But again, it's really funny to me because last year, PlayStation walked away with a ton of the awards. Or at least apparently PlayStation walked away with a ton of the awards. Again, with God of War winning, I think, 7 or 8 alone. But not, well, I think 6 or 7 alone. Again, it's just, it's weird how easily people shift to that. Next up, we've got Unida, I think, whatever, with Xbox First Party won more awards than somebody PlayStation at the hashtag Game Awards, which, oh boy, that is just kind of sad, a little bit. Again, I don't really have much more clever because, again, I'm very hungover, so please, no. Yeah, I think we'll end this off right here with a full Cope clip from the Game Awards that I found tweeted by Apples, Golden Apples here. And this one's on The Amazing Lucas. Now, I know that there's another one where it was JTech TV, which I still might do a video on this one, but I'd have to, again, dedicate a whole video to it. And I don't know if I would have, like, if it would be relevant at that time. But I know for a fact that Harman is most likely going to make a video on this, so I'm going to have to cover him as well. So let's just talk about this clip here.
Like, who wants to play Wolverine? Don't even care. These mofos get Blade. This is a testament to the quality that Xbox has and will be producing in the future. This goes to show that all of the games that you have been waiting for are coming out in 2024. These niggas on some crazy shit, bro.
Okay. So you gotta love the amazing Lucas himself for always just having the most banger of voices. I know that my voice is one where a lot of people, you either like it or you don't. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, your voice is amazing, even though I tend to also do voices whenever I do specific things. I could probably do voiceover work, but unsure. I'm not, like, the best at it. Not like a professional. But, I mean, I do these things, and I always try to make sure that I come off as mellow and important. Whenever he does this sort of stuff, and I use that very sparingly. I know I do that voice as well. But whenever he does, it's always the kind of one where it feels like he's on ADHD medicine. But I get to the point he's comparing the people to, like, oh, people excited for Wolverine, yay, Wolverine, and then people are always like, oh, yay, they're getting Blade. And yeah, again, this is on Blade and stuff, and I should probably save this for the Blade video, but quite honestly, this one had more to do with the Game Awards, and I need a little bit of a clip for this just to liven things up. So yeah, but continuing on.
What do they say constantly? I said, yo, y'all don't even have a game that can compare to 10-year-old Uncharted 4. Got nothing. Nothing. Bro.
You mean Tomb Raider, which also came out around the same time. Did it also come around the same time? I'm unsure. Even if that's not an exclusive, I think it was, or like at least a timed exclusive for a while. If it's on the PlayStation, then okay. But it's weird to me how you can look at a game like this and be like, oh well, this is blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems odd to me. Yeah. Anyway, I think that'll about do it for this episode of the amount of salt that I have to endure is incredible. If you like what it is that I do and want to support me in any way, shape, or form, links down to everything in the description. I do have a Patreon. I do have other stuff that you can support me on. Just overall, yeah. In any case, my name is Game King. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna go get some water and a peace off.